Yo, 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 yo.
Ho, ho. And a can of India Pale Ale.
That's right. Came prepared today. Welcome to Binge Society, the podcast where nothing
is in moderation.
Yes,
Ooh,
thank
we
you.
were synced up there, right?
I missed that.
I was in your head.
I
You were.
missed it, man.
I'm in your head.
See, that's what happens when you have good friends and you just vibe and it just
vibe,
rolls.
man.
It's perfect.
And then your menstrual cycle is synchronized.
Yeah,
It's
exactly,
great.
man.
So, I'm Winston Brewington.
I am Danny Bronner.
And I'm Yemi. You know who it is, Afalabi.
Yes, yes, yes.
I think I'm gonna have a
That's
different
pretty
middle.
presumptuous. It's like, we absolutely have no
We don't know
clue
who you are. This is why we're tuning in. No.
But
What's going on, guys? Good to see you, man. Back
Yeah.
again.
Yo, it's so good to be back, man. I see my man Yemi got the Dunkin' Donuts popping again.
Hey, man, did you get that from the ferry?
I got it from the ferry. Dude, you know I did.
It's the best,
The best
Dunkin'
Dunkin'.
Donuts.
Dude, it's the best Dunkin' on the island, on Manhattan's island. It's the quickest, and they have these they have coffee taps, and there's
Really?
only two in the entire city. One's on Staten Island, and the other one's on like they have nitro hibiscus tea. Dude, it's
What?
lit.
Yo.
It's lit. Yeah, that deserves that roster
Taking
horn.
coffee to a new level with the taps.
Um,
It's like they're using the nitrous thing from Fast and Furious,
oh,
which we'll get into.
cool your jets.
Hey,
Cool your
hey,
jets.
Hey,
Too soon?
hey.
Too soon.
you
Let's
see
check
what I
in
did
for
there?
Yes, he did.
I
Too soon.
Yeah, but
used
that
the
was
nitro too soon. I used
That
the
was
nitro
good.
too soon. That's the thing
Too
in the
soon.
movies.
It's too soon. It's too soon.
Are we
Too
checking in? What are we checking in with? What are we starting with?
So first, let's talk about the previews. I
Yeah,
guess.
we've been watching some movies the
Yeah.
last couple of weeks, and there have been some good trailers.
There's been some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting trailers.
Yeah.
So which ones stood out to you, Winston?
The Queen and Slim, the sort of black Bonnie and Clyde movie.
Yeah, and they literally like say that in the trailer. Like, you
Yeah.
guys are the Black Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah, they really they're making sure that that's a thing.
Yeah.
I feel like
Starring.
they didn't have to do that. Like we would have been able to deduct.
It's
Like,
like, we get it.
Right, right.
Wait
we get
a
it.
minute.
It's two black people and
We're
they're
gonna
running
feed
from
you.
the
We're
law.
gonna feed you.
Do you get it? You understand?
Do you understand what we're trying to say?
Just in our face.
Sorry, just
I love the progression of our podcast.
I know. This is how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Every week, bigger and better. You know what I mean?
More explosions.
yes.
Yeah, more explosions.
So it's got starring my man Daniel Kaluuya from
yes.
From Get Out.
Get Out. Yes.
And also Avengers. He's one of the.
Oh, that's right. He is. He
he's in
is
Black
from Black
Panther.
Panther. He is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of his character.
No, he was. Yeah, that's sorry. That's what
Yeah.
I meant. Black Panther.
Yeah, he's
He betrayed him. He
yeah,
betrayed
he's
T'Challa.
Academy Award nominated actor.
He's good.
Yeah, he's really good. So I'm actually really curious. I'd definitely watch that movie.
And just quick shout outs to his monologue in Black Mirror. What was it, episode 2?
Oh,
My
yeah.
God, that was
Yeah.
one of the
That
best
was
monologues
one of the
I've
best-
ever. Whoa.
That was scary. That was super scary.
That got me into after that whole. That was a really deep episode and also a really good episode. And
Yeah,
the
man.
whole about society and having the knife, and then they switched it at
Yeah.
the end.
Oh,
how
that's
he,
right.
He
Yeah, yeah,
became
yeah.
a cog in the machine once.
Oh,
he,
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Once they pulled back the curtain, like, you know what, come inside, and then he.
Yeah,
It
man.
was. It was just they. Like telling. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
My
No.
brain.
Hey, it was your turn to have a stroke this week.
Yeah, I
Here we
think
go. The cycle
It-
is
it-
complete.
it-
I got. But
Yemi
yeah,
is,
that messaging would have not been possible without Daniel Kaluuya's role and performance in that. But anyway, what's this movie about? We got Black Bonnie and Clyde. How do they become Black Bonnie and Clyde? They so he gets pulled over.
He gets
and
pulled over.
instead of being a statistic for Black Lives Matter, he ends up turning the gun on the officer who is gonna be using excessive force, was gonna pop a cap in his ass. And in the aftermath, he and his Tinder date, they're on their first Tinder date,
Yeah,
apparently.
yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Um,
Hell of a Tinder date.
yeah, man. Oof. Dude. That's taking it real far. That's a microwave relationship if I've ever seen one. In any case, they got to go on the lam, run away from the po-po for show. And they become like something of like a heroic, like iconic sort of figures because of what they've done. And it seems like an interesting film. What do you guys think? It looks cool to me.
I'll check
it
it
looks
out.
all right. I'd like the spin of what if,
Yeah.
if you shot a cop. And I hope it plays to some truth if that really happened. From the trailer, it looks like they're going for the Bonnie and Clyde anti-hero hero point of view. And I think I'm a little bit split on the preview because I feel like, especially nowadays, you having a message to shoot back can be, so what are you saying? You should have excessive force against police, and it might, you know what I mean? It influence in the wrong way, or I just want it to be done correctly.
Not to serve to divide us. Kind of a thing.
Exactly.
Yo,
I don't want it
watching-
to. I don't. And then I think movies like, not to cut you off, but I think movies like that can be very divisive right now.
Yeah.
Oh, don't go see that movie. It's about killing cops, and it's like, well, it's not. Maybe it's not about that. Maybe it's about a what if situation in a dream scenario. What if there was an altercation, you ended up shooting a cop? So
Yeah.
I like that premise. But from what it seems. All right, I'm gonna be honest. From what it seems, they're going the love route, Bonnie and Clyde. It's our love is gonna conquer all. I'm like, that's not.
I think it'll be layered.
But
Yeah,
I don't
I
think
think
that's
so.
not.
No.
And I hope that they don't do that, because that's not what it should be about. Yes, you were in love because of this situation. I don't know.
I think
I'm gonna go
I
see
think they
it.
will
I'm
do a
gonna go
love thing.
see
I
it.
think that will be secondary to the other themes that we were discussing. But I'm interested to see how they do it. And
Yeah.
there is a danger that it could be a bit divisive. I was watching in the barbershop the other week. What is it called?
Getting a haircut.
I'm getting a haircut.
Get your hair did.
And higher learning.
What movie is that on?
Higher learning.
Give me a lollipop. I want to watch a movie.
So I got my lolly, and there I am getting my
Get my
haircut.
cornrows.
I look pretty good with cornrows. I could rock those. No, I can't.
I like to see you in some cornrows. That'd be dope.
We should do that for an episode.
The cornrows episode. Nah, but yeah, higher learning, that seemed like a little bit divisive. I was like, this is just like a race war taking place on a college campus, and like people are like,
Well, they were having.
they're like pointing guns at each other. I'm like, yo, talk to someone at the campus and be like, hey man, this guy pointed a gun on me. I don't think he's fit to be at the school. Like, and they'd be like, oh sure, we'll take care of that.
Yeah. I'm feeling really triggered right now. I mean, but those was like 90 movies, right?
Yeah, 90
It was
Yeah,
all it was in the slew of higher learning, boys in the hood. What other? Those kind of
Yeah.
school
Poetic
days,
Justice,
poetic justice.
Juice.
Very.
Wait, not Juice.
Well, Juice was more about
Dead Presidents.
Dead
Presidents.
Ooh.
That president.
We're not even talking about this, and we're binging or like binging about
Yeah.
good,
We have a memory binges right now.
good urban 90 black films.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it seems the trend now, and there was another preview for another film. A preview. Get your
Yes.
words out. Get your words out.
Use your words.
Yeah.
There was another preview. I forget what the movie is called, but it's like a female. I'm about to say female black cop, because that's who the character is. I didn't want to be like a lady cop. I'm only saying that so you know who the protagonist is.
Right.
Yes.
She is a police, and she witnesses the police use excessive force or something like that. And then they see that she witnesses it, and they try to shoot her. She's got a flak vest on, and survives. And so she's basically running away from the cops who are trying to cover up their misdeeds. So what I'm getting to here is I feel like it's like 90% of black films now are dealing with police violence in some kind of way. And obviously, being a POC myself, I realize this is what's happening. And, art imitates life and the other way around. But it's like, whoa, it's just like all the movies are about this now in some kind of way.
Yeah, it's a bit of a wave happening right now, on and off screen, really. And like you said, art imitates life, and this is truly that happening. And I think it's not going to slow down anytime soon. To be honest, I think this is where we're at.
Yeah, I feel like we're going to look back on this and be like, this is the Black Lives Matter period of filmmaking, where we're going to see The Hate You Give and blind spotting.
Blind spotting.
There are a bunch, man.
Mm-hmm. And there'll be more.
And
There's
they're
more
good.
coming in.
There are lots that are good.
Yeah.
Not taking away anything from these films.
Yeah. And,
Bill-
after you-
Continue.
I was gonna say, to switch directions a little bit.
Yes.
We saw a preview for it, 1917, the film
Yay.
set in World War I.
A World War I film.
Yeah.
I've been craving this. A couple of years back, I listened to this podcast, Dan Carlin's Hardcore History. And basically, he gets into like all the ins and outs of World War I. And as I'm listening to it, it's fascinating, man. The shit that these people went through, and just like the transition from old warfare into modern warfare, it's crazy. It's crazy. And if you're into like just understanding the extremes of the human experience, look no further than World War I. And what I'm thinking is, how come we haven't gotten the sort of movies that you see for World War II, and these longer drama series like Band of Brothers, The Pacific? I want to see more of that for World War I. And the trailer for this one was sick. And it's coming out, I think, November or December. So I'm hoping this is like an Oscar buzz movie. They're going for it. I'm excited.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks intense. If you're into those war movies, those war films.
If you're a war buff, yeah.
Yeah, it looks intense. So
Yeah.
I might go check it out myself.
World War I is just like a particularly fascinating war, man.
Yeah.
They're using artillery. They're in the trenches. They had all this like mud there and shit, where with mud was like basically like quicksand. There's so many things that could kill you, and there would be people like they would have in the trenches. They would basically have hours of waves of people going like every 15 minutes to get up and get out of the trench for a charge, and just like just smashing shit
Easy,
over here.
Danny. Easy.
Whoa.
Hit my laptop.
Whoa.
And then just like you'd be like waves of your friends like getting up and dying and be like, all right, it's my turn in 45 minutes. I am definitely gonna die because that's what's happened to the previous like 1,000
It's
however many
insane.
people. Woo.
Yeah,
So
it's crazy.
I wouldn't
stuff.
want to do that.
No.
I'd be like, I'm just gonna stay in here with my trench foot.
I'm not a huge war movie buff, but that was one of the best trailers I've seen in a long time, cinematically, and how they cut it with the typography.
Yeah.
And when you see the trailer, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about with the numbers and how they used introducing what it was with
The number's 1917.
19. But
I'm just
1917.
1917.
But also there was a phrase, but
Oh, I see. What you mean.
the
Yeah.
way they did the cinematography and the trailer was super dope.
Yeah,
I can't
absolutely.
really talk today. I don't know what's going on with my mouth
Nah, man,
brain.
you're
but
good, bro.
My
You're good,
mouth
bro.
I
brain.
don't know.
Have some more of that Dunkin', man.
Yeah,
That's
I
it.
need.
Fresh out of the tap.
On
the
good
finish.
stuff.
This is cold
It's the good
brew.
stuff.
Please pay us,
Oh,
Dunkin'.
I love some cold brew. Anyway, let's get into our main topic for today.
What we talking about today,
We
guys? What are we
talking
binging?
about Hobbs and Shaw, and of course we'll be talking, of course, about the Fast and Furious universe a bit. But mainly we're focusing on Hobbs and Shaw, which is the first spin-off starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
He's the Rock.
He is The Rock.
The Rock.
Jason Statham, of course, as the big bad. We have Idris Elba. We have Vanessa Kirby as
Meow.
Katie Shaw. Yeah, she was great, I thought.
Why are you hissing me? That's how you hit on people? You just like hissing them? Like,
Isa
Who are you?
Gonzalez, who played Madam as she was like a professional. She basically helped them get through.
She was
and-
a Russian spy.
she
Yeah,
had like
yeah.
2 lines, and she wasn't Russian. She was just like in Ukraine.
Yeah, she was
Oh,
just there.
okay, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. I mean, it was a
But
cool
yeah,
character,
yeah,
but
I
whatever.
apologize. Gonzales.
And then,
Can't take it back. What's done is done, man.
And then, of course, we have Helen Mirren as Queenie,
Queenie
who
Shaw.
is Shaw's mother in the film. And yeah, so this is where we get into it, gentlemen.
Can we do the
Yeah,
spoil-
yeah,
spoiler
so-
alert from here on?
Warning.
Good.
That's what that means. It means shit's gonna get spoiled. Again,
I know
this
that's
is-
supposed to say warning. It sounds like warring.
Yeah,
Warring.
Boring.
Robots have a long way to go before they
Yeah.
can take over. That's
Exactly.
another topic.
Fix your
for a later
vocal cords,
time.
robot.
Get your words out, robot.
Another
Uh,
note is the movie was directed by David Leitch, who also
did Deadpool,
directed Deadpool
Deadpool
2
2.
and Atomic Blondes. And he also, I think, co-directed John Wick 3.
Oh.
So they made sure that they brought in someone who knew how to put on good fighting sequences. So, Danny,
Whoa.
So-
what were your thoughts?
Initial thoughts.
My initial thoughts are there is so much that is stupid about this movie. Do not watch this movie. And I mean, well, if you're listening to this, you've already watched it. So
And you wanna hear
you're here
us-
for the spoiler cast.
Yeah.
But do not expect a lot of reality in this movie. Do not expect it to be grounded that much. Ugh. There are fun parts. And, like, I'd like to get through the positives. All right, so what are some positive things? There were action sequences that were good.
What was your favorite action sequence?
The final fight scene, even though
In Samoa?
how we got there made no fucking sense.
Well, that's the thing, too.
But
continue.
the pure actual fight scene between Idris and The Rock and Jason
Jason.
Statham. That was a cool fight, even though they beat Black Superman by just having 2 people.
This is your
Right.
kryptonite.
This is
That was one of the
This
best
is
Suplex
lines-
into a rock?
one of the
So
best
all
lines
they
in the
needed-
movie.
all they needed to
Cyborg.
def-
I'm not even gonna.
We'll get it.
Continue.
We'll get it. There's
Continue.
lots. There's going to be a ranting section. There was a ranting section. So yeah, some of the fight scenes were good, but a lot of it was spoiled by the trailer, man.
I didn't see the trailer.
They've
Thank
had,
God.
Yeah, a lot of it
They've
was
had
spoiled by the
various
trailer.
trailers out, and I'm not a guy who like goes on YouTube to watch trailers. This is not something that was on my radar. But just in my time from going to the movies, to see other things. I've seen so many different trailers over such a long period of time that I was like, oh, this is this fight scene. This is this fight scene. I saw this in the trailer. Oh, wait, what's happening? We haven't got to Samoa yet. I know that's coming up.
Right.
I'm waiting for the helicopter. So, you know,
Can I ask, how
there was
was
there was a lot of shit from the trailers that kind of ruined it for me. And the I didn't feel like, all right, well, I was talking about positives. I would say Idris Elba as a whole was good as the villain. But like just Statham and The Rock lacked chemistry. The Rock and Shaw's sister lacked chemistry. There was the banter was bad, man. When they're going like back and forth, like talking shit, it's like, I'm gonna like shove my teeth, my fist so far down your throat that every time you fart, I'm going to give you the middle finger out your anus or some shit. And it's just like, what are you talking about, man? This is contrived.
Yeah.
what was your movie experience?
Mine was just like, I was at the,
were the people around?
Yeah, there were people around. I was
Okay.
with recliners. There were a couple of like young kids around. That's my first time actually seeing a movie by myself, which is
Ever?
something ever, man.
Oh,
I
really?
used to think that was a very lonely, sad thing to do. But especially now that we got to like watch movies for this gig, it was fine. It was cool. So,
Speaking
you know,
of by
but
myself.
that's my general take, and we'll get into more specifics. But Yemi, ¿qué tú piensas?
I saw it by myself. There was no one in the theater.
Like really,
I live
by
in
yourself.
Staten Island,
Abandoned.
and I saw 915 RPX, which is the IMAX. There was no one there, so I was like, yeah.
Oh, you went in like a big screen?
Yeah, I went in a
Oh,
big screen. I
wow.
said, I want the whole enchilada. And man, I said, all right, this is gonna be an action film. I haven't seen a lot of I think the last Fast and Furious I saw was with Ludacris, and they were like stealing, or they were doing like Tokyo Drift or something. I don't really remember.
Oh, yeah. I hadn't seen a lot either. I binged some afterward, and we'll talk about that.
We're just doing positives, right?
Positives. This is the positive
Well,
portion.
I threw in some negatives for sure.
Okay,
so.
but I'm not gonna, because that's gonna
We'll start with the positives first, because I feel like your negative list is longer.
I really enjoyed the fight scenes. My favorite fight scene was the one they were Spoiler alert. Warning. Where they're running down the scaffolding. I thought that was crazy as shit.
That's dope, but I
hyped.
saw it in the
That was
trailer, man.
Yeah, I did
so
not see that.
yeah.
I was like, yo, what? I said they're fighting like this, ascending. That was crazy. I was like, this is crazy, insane, dope. Loved Idris Elba. I'm a fan of Ryan Reynolds in anything he does.
Oh, yeah, he was great.
And
Yeah.
he just comes across as a natural, funny guy with anyone. He has his timing, and he's like, we're best friends. You know, like I just like that scene where in the coffee shop. I thought that was like really heartwarming and funny. I was like laughing.
I'm sure there was like good improv in there too.
Yeah. No, he was really funny.
Yeah,
I liked him.
I really like that. Idris Elba as Black Superman, dope. Really have a man boner for Vanessa Kirby is her name.
Vanessa Kirby, yes.
The
It
one of
just
the
sounds like
as-
you have
as Katie
a
Shaw.
hetero boner.
I have
for
a
her.
hetero boner for. She was cute, and she was also badass. I dug the whole femme fatale thing they're going with, where she's also a spy and she has her own thing. And
Yeah.
she's super strong. I enjoyed the initial plot of what they were doing. Let's be honest, that's been done. Terminator, man versus machine, blah, singularity. I was like, this is nothing new as far as a plot device. And I enjoyed the explosions. I love the car chases. I love the motorcycle. Ooh, fucking motorcycle Knight Rider, dude. That shit was dope.
Yeah.
That was hot.
That
was
was like,
hot.
that's
So,
Him
dope.
going underneath the truck.
Yeah, all that
yeah.
shit. I was like, yes, more of that shit.
Part of what was so good about Idris Elba was his bike,
His bike was,
and
yeah.
also just like the cyborg
Yeah.
aspect of him. Like he had like for Naruto fans, he basically had like the Sharingan eye. Like he had the data like fist incoming.
Yeah.
Big threat, whatever.
Yeah,
so
it
he
had,
like
yes.
he had like the
yes.
trajectory,
I feel
like
like
whatever.
they-
So
He
Yeah,
had another
that-
stroke. I can't talk today.
stroke
Yes.
it out, man.
I feel like they could have even.
Good. That's good. Keep talking.
I feel like they could have played up the cyborg aspect of him even more.
Yes.
Because, like, I liked how they had him, like, being repaired and stuff by the
Yeah.
machines. But I feel like they could have really, like, got more into it because, like, they could have really, maybe not exaggerated more, but just, like, kind of really, really go into that.
I mean, he did get thrown through a fucking bus, and
mean,
it was
yeah.
like he got up and he was like, "Damn it!"
Yeah, saying
Thorough bus again.
Segueing, how do you feel? What was the
Yeah.
positive? What did you feel? Positive
All right, my
reviews.
I actually agreed a lot with what you were saying as far as like the action sequence where they were coming down off the building or
Yeah.
whatever. That was sick. Loved the motorcycle scene going underneath the truck. I also really liked, even though it got there in kind of a weird way, I did really like the final fight scene in Samoa. I kind of liked how they had to pull things back and use old school weapons and that sort of like family thing. And I think what made it maybe awkward for people is the fact that I felt like the film was pretty much going to end when they were fighting on top of that truck.
Me too.
Yeah.
I said, this is it.
I was like, this is the end scene. And then all of a sudden, it's like, wait, there's like another 30 minutes
she
of
still
film
has
left.
And that
she
was
still
like
has
an hour
a deadly disease in her body.
Right,
Oh,
exactly.
we gotta kind of write another 30 minutes, guys.
There was that was an hour and 45 minutes in with that scene. And I was like,
It's
I guess we're wrapping
insane.
things up.
So it was crazy. Like they almost could have like not cut that middle scene out, but if they could have cut out some of the other things and make
Like
it
the
so like
shitty
they end up-
banter?
that.
Yeah, man.
But that's the thing that some people like. You know, some people like that sort of like, I'm better than you, I'm bigger than you. And like the scene where they're, I know I'm going between positive and negatives here, but that scene where they're in that lab, I believe it's in Ukraine, and then
man.
you see two sides of the glass. One side of the glass is The Rock takes this one guy out with a punch. One punch like that, and then all of a
That's what
sudden,
it sounds like.
and then all of a sudden, Jason Statham, he's like beating up like 20 guys, just like going through all of them, and blah 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 blah, and The Rock's like yawning, and like it's like I get it. They're trying to make it a little more funny, a little more family friendly and stuff, but I thought that was a little like, all right, I could have gone without the exaggeratedness of it.
I liked that scene, and I liked it in the trailer, but I saw it 80 fucking times in the trailer, so I was like,
I'm glad I didn't
see
see
it
any
again.
trainers, trailers.
So what are
Yami's going through it today, man.
I'm gonna be on the backseat on this one, guys.
So I guess we'll go. I mean, even though we talked a little bit about the negative things, let's dive deeper into the negative things.
All right, so what are some things we want to rant about? So the first thing that comes into my mind is, and there's subtopics. I'm having a stroke about this because I'm like, what do I talk
on my own rage?
What can I rant about?
Danny's choking on his own rage.
Just in the Samoa section.
Yeah.
First of all, going to Samoa. Bitch had 24 hours left at the end of that scene in Moscow.
Let's not. Okay.
They flew. They had to go to a plane, wait to board that plane, fly on that plane all the way to Samoa.
From where were they?
I think they were in Moscow
Yeah,
or in
that's
Ukraine.
right, yeah.
They're in Moscow,
That
Ukraine.
would take at least.
That's at least 12 hours.
At least. At least.
least
With good
12
jet
hours.
stream or whatever aeronautical shit.
Everything working.
With everything working, you still getting into 12 hours, man.
That's 12 hours.
All right.
And then.
And she was still alive.
And she was still
looking
alive. And then,
fine.
and then, yeah, she didn't even get like sweaty at all. She wasn't like
her mascara wasn't running. She's like, bitch, I got the most deadliest shit in my body. But
And then feel free to chime in because I'm sure this is shit that pissed you off too.
I'll tell you
All
what.
right, so
okay.
they get to Samoa, and then they had to wait for the bad guys to get to Samoa. So there's time that they had to find out where they went. Then they had to go to Samoa, and that takes time.
Right.
So that the whole aspect of time that was bullshit. The whole fucking like we're gonna fight them with these old melee weapons and our hearts and fucking chanclas. Mama with the chancleta, man.
I felt like there was a.
It was basically the Ewoks. That was Ewoks from fucking Return of the Jedi.
Maybe.
We had the Empire. Somehow his brother, who was a fucking car mechanic, knew how to fix the dialysis machine.
All right. Can I chime in here? Can I chime in here?
Do it.
Let me just-
How my levels doing?
Your levels are off. I see the engineer's like, keep it down. So we're choking on rage. I'm having strokes left and right. Here's the thing. I'm gonna start here.
I got more. Just from Samoa.
Yeah. I again, great. If you have a suspension of disbelief, then like just go in with that. Don't go in with any. You cannot torture. First of all, it shouldn't have been PG-13. I did not know that. I thought it was rated R.
Yeah,
I thought it was rated R. I said, yeah, we're gonna see some skin. We're gonna see some other stuff that
Some
rhymes with
brief
skin.
nudity.
Brief nudity, drug use. I was like, no, all right, PG-13. You can't have. This is where I lost it. And I'm glad I was by myself because I was just rolling my eyes. I was like, Jesus Christ, what's going on? Like, and I'm glad no one was there to hear because it was like, this is terrible. I was just like talking to no one in the empty movie theater, screaming. During the scene where they get caught, because you always get caught in an action movie. We all know this.
Oh, yeah, man.
And they were tied up, right? They had like 40-pound chains and like those steel ropes that they use for bridges.
Right.
For bridges, for suspending bridges around their necks. And then each just is in there. He's like, if you're not going to talk, I can't do a fuking accent. He's like, if you're not going to talk, you guys maybe have 3 in you, like 3 shots.
Right.
He said, we got about 5. We have about 5. Jason Statham.
Why is The Rock British now?
I don't know who's, whatever.
Everyone's British
Everyone's
now.
British.
I'm angry.
And then I said, okay, this is I like gore in movies. I like blood, some blood. You cannot electrocute a person 3 times with nothing. Nothing.
Right.
They
No
were just like,
mucus.
they were just like, yeah, and then
Right.
no mucus, no red eyes,
Yeah, they were
no blood from the mouth, nothing.
They were
from the
one
ears.
shock away from death. They were
And
like,
they were-
I'm about to shock you. That's last
Yeah, and they're
time
like,
I
whoa,
kill
whoa,
you.
whoa. And
And they're like, chill. They're like, hey, wait, man, I'm feeling good.
I'm
with that-
feeling good because they were doing some plan. Spoiler alert: they were doing a plan called what was the plan? Because they had
Mick Jagger.
Mick Jagger,
Oh,
right?
the Mick Jagger,
to
right.
pull focus so someone can sneak in. But I like the way they introduced the plans too. That was dope. That was reminiscent of the Italian Job when they would do a plan or Ocean's 11.
Also,
where-
they had a nod to
call.
They had a nod to Italian. Job,
yeah,
with the
because
Mini
of
Coupe.
yeah. And I dig the Easter eggs for that. But after that scene, my belief blew. I said, "This is bullshit." And then to
After
top
that
it off,
scene, that
no,
was
no, no,
like 2
no, no,
hours
no,
in the
but
movie.
that was the straw that broke the camel's back. Then they just miraculously out of nowhere broke the chains. With bare straight, like Jason Statham did a backflip with the chair, and then The Rock's like, "This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna rip the chair and punch that guy, kick that guy." He's like, "You can't kick that
No,
guy.
that's my guy.
No, that's guy. Oh, you gotta find another guy to kick." And they try to fucking shoehorn more bad banter, and then the sister's like, "Here I am," and then the guy, the nerd, the scientist,
Yeah.
there's always a sacrificial scientist lamb. He's like,
You
"I'm
are
not."
a huge nerd.
He's like, "I'm not." He screamed something too. He's like, "I'm not." Remember?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
right.
What did he scream?
Well,
He screamed some stupid shit. He's like, I'm
screamed
not a
some stupid
nerd
shit.
or whatever.
And then he grabbed the flamethrower
And
and
just
just
started
started
flaming.
like going in on everyone, like like
And
some
no
Rambo
one's
shit.
no one's shooting him. These elite fucking cyborg
They were
soldiers
just like,
are just
whoa,
like,
that's hot.
it's hot in here, you guys.
After the non-gory, what I can't even, what is when you shock people, torture scene, and then just the miraculous arbitrary, like, now we're free. There wasn't even any cut scene, like B shots of like them struggling, you know, like.
Oh, yeah,
There
yeah,
was none
yeah.
of
Not
that.
at all.
There was
Not
there
at
was
all.
nothing to allude that these guys are gonna get out of this like this. Even and one thing I didn't understand is they always alluded to it with the sister, but not in this scene. You know, she was a sneak.
Oh yeah,
She-
but in Fast and Furious lore, and I watched 2 other movies after this one, so I watched 3
So
Fast
fucking
and Furious
stupid.
movies
Wow.
in
Oh
a
my
day.
gosh.
God bless you.
I need
Yeah.
I need to talk to somebody. But what I'm trying to get at is that like people break out of shit mad easy in all the Fast and Furious movies. They're just like Houdini's, like or someone just needs to get some better chains.
Yeah.
They even got the bridge wire. But yeah,
Bridge one.
They got the bridge wire.
Win.
There is more to
Alright.
rant
Win.
about. What's the first?
Win. Sorry.
All right. No.
Well, how do you
Yeah.
feel overall? Do you have
Look,
things you
Do you
want to
have
rant about? We're
negatives? I
assuming.
feel like you're
No,
the
no,
level-headed
no.
one of us 3.
I mean, I do, but all right. I generally went into this movie knowing what I was gonna get, and I pretty much got exactly what I was expecting.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, all right. Just going back to that one scene where they're falling off of that building, and The Rock is climbing on top of Idris Elba. You know, Idris Elba's got Vanessa Kirby on his back, and he's going down. He's trying to take her, and then he falls through glass on top of Idris Elba, and then they fall, and there's like broken glass everywhere. There's no scrapes, no blood. It was just like, wait, and he just got up, like, oh wait, just brush my shoulders
fell
off.
off a building.
Like that was a little crazy. Also, on a different sort of topic, I thought that the chemistry between Vanessa Kirby and The Rock and that sort of love thing, it just didn't seem to work for me. I mean, I like her a lot. I think she's dope. I think she's going to end up playing a part in other movies, either other Fast
Yeah, I
and
liked
Furious
her. I liked
movies
her. Yeah.
or some other action films in the future. I can see her being snatched up by like Marvel for something.
Oh yeah.
You know, because she's just got that. I don't know. She's got that sort of charisma, and plus, there's a need for more female sort of action stars.
And both she and The Rock have charisma, but that shit was forced.
Yeah, it was super forced. I didn't think Kevin Hart's appearance was super funny.
Thank God you said
Dude,
something.
Yeah.
That was shoehorned the
Yeah.
fuck in.
Yeah.
Yo, guys,
you didn't.
guys,
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
No.
Literally, and that was that was one of the like bad banter moments where I was like, please fucking stop this. We got
Yeah.
The Rock in a tracksuit. Why? If they faked ideas, why would he need a tracksuit to prove his fucking that this is the person? I'm sorry, we don't believe you. You're not wearing a tracksuit.
What was his name? Michael Coxmall?
Mike Oxmo.
Mike Oxmall.
Coxmall.
Mike Oxmall. That
But
was,
he got back
doing
at he got
Simpson
back
jokes.
at him. He got back at him in the end credits by doing the huge anus or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Oh, that's right.
in the middle of that banter on the plane, I'm like, "What's fucking next, Kevin Hart?" In my head, and like out comes Kevin Hart, like, "Hey man, what's going on? I'm Mr. Dinkley." I was like, "Oh no."
Yo, I want to be part of the team. All right, I'm gonna be the third part of this team. It's like if you need anything, just call me. Whenever.
I thought for a second he was gonna be a part of the movie. I was like,
Oh
if he's
my
a
God.
part
Oh
of this,
my God.
I'm walking out.
Yo,
Well, they
don't
tried
be
to go that
surprised
I'm
if they
walking
do a
out.
second one of these and he's gonna be in there. Him and Ryan Reynolds.
I
in
just
more
felt like
prominent
Ryan
roles.
Reynolds could have played. I love Kevin Hart, but I just didn't understand. I didn't understand the need for that. It didn't even get a big laugh. I
Because
was
they
by
needed-
myself.
they
I don't know
needed
if I got a
actual
laugh at the
banter.
theater.
I was in the theater that had some people in it.
Did it get a laugh?
It got no laughs.
All right, so shit was corny.
It was corny. The Ryan Reynolds parts where he was in
He's
there,
fine.
they got some
not to-
laughs.
Yeah,
but,
but that was. I don't know, man.
yeah.
I don't know.
Look, overall, it's a big budget summer film. Another thing I want to bring up because me and Danny had talked about this before the show.
Oh yeah.
My man.
Well, wait, can we, I've
we
got so
done?
much more to rant about.
No, dude, no, go for it. Go for
So
it.
much more.
It's
Keep
too
going.
long. It's also
Back
too
to
long.
yeah, too long.
2 hours
Too
and 15
fucking
minutes
long.
is too long.
But yeah,
Well, yeah.
We'll talk about that for sure. But I've got some things I got to get off my chest.
Do it.
So also in Samoa.
Got your blood boiling.
Also in Samoa. So yeah, they get mechanic to fix the dialysis machine. Super complicated, right? And they're like, "Hey man, we need this to be done now." And he's like, "I don't know, I got to do some more things." And he's like, "Just fucking do it." And he's like, "Okay," and it just works. What else did he have to do on that dialysis machine to like make sure it was working okay? He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He's like, "All right, we're just gonna go with it." And
At that point, I
works.
didn't give a shit. I was like, I don't.
Yeah.
That shit looked like a fucking Windows 98
But-
keyboard. I was like, what is going on over
And
here?
I can suspend my disbelief.
Like I was like, what the fuck is that?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I was so confused at
He's
that
using
point.
DOS, man.
Yeah.
So I was able to suspend my disbelief for running down a building, all the forearm strength they use, like with
Lots
the
of
Rock,
forearm
lots
strength.
of forearm strength, man. The Rock is like holding up a dude in a car and then slams up against the wall while they're driving. I was like, why wouldn't your arm snap off? Also, you just
Oh,
it's The Rock,
'cause
God
Rock.
damn it!
'Cause it's The
'Cause it's
Rock.
the
Are you
fucking
talking
Rock.
about when he's outside of the car and grabs the guy?
Yeah.
And in the car,
And then
off a motorcycle. So
right.
fuck physics, right?
Nah, there ain't nothing scientific
all
about
forearms and
this
lats,
movie.
man.
Listen,
forearms and lats. Do
As
not
strong
skip
as The Rock
forearm
is.
day, man. Do
Yeah.
not skip forearm and lat
you
day.
would jam all your fingers, your elbow would crack. All right, whatever.
Just go flying off.
Hey.
But anyway,
And
the point I was getting to
Yes.
is like I can suspend my disbelief for that shit because we've seen forearm strength in other Fast and Furious movies where they're jumping on shit. Anyway, what gets me is that this dialysis machine stays in place the entire
Oh,
fight,
yeah.
Yeah, that's right. On her back.
and to get her back, what's the strategy they use? They crash down the helicopter she is aboard with no harness or seatbelt. And she's okay. So is the
course she is.
dialysis machine.
Of course she is.
Like I
They-
said,
they
at that
fall off
point,
a
I
cliff.
didn't give a shit about. What? All right, whatever.
I mean, yeah.
Can we? Is no one gonna say the end? Like with
The helicopter?
What the fuck was that
Can we
stupid shit?
To the helicopter.
I mean, it was.
That was the
one
dumbest.
Of the most,
car.
Well, I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming from the
I
trailer.
knew it was coming too.
I didn't see
And-
the trailer, so
and
I said, "Oh, this is cool." I thought it would have been cool. They could have went so many ways with it. That's why I didn't understand the shoehorning of the horning or whatever. why do you have to fit like we're family now, Samoa? I guess they're trying to. I guess that's a theme in Fast and Furious. We're family.
Yeah, that's the theme.
So apparently,
yeah.
The Rock has done something so awful. He's been gone for 25 years. Where his brother's like, I won't even save the fucking world for you. And all Mom has to do is come in with the chancla and be like, no, you love each other. That I don't know what accent that was. That was like Jamaican Irish.
Yeah, that's pretty.
You love each other. We are Samoans, you know.
It's like have Jamaican, have Irish, make Samoan.
Come off, I tell you.
That's an interesting accent.
That is hilarious.
Love
each other.
It was cool.
You're brothers.
Not as good as my Bernie.
It was.
We're off the rails today, man. What is happening?
It was a super corny. I like the scene. I like mainly the fighting scene when like the weapons were disabled for that 5 minutes and they came through.
That was dope. That was dope.
That was
yeah.
cool.
But wouldn't they still have knives or like grenades to be like, you turn off for our weapons? Oh shit! And they're out there dancing like ukika, uka, and just bing, bing, throwing a grenade like pow, shut the fuck
Yeah,
up.
I mean it was definitely it was
They were
exaggerated.
like, whoa,
for sure.
what, huh? What?
I mean, some of them old school weapons are dope as shit, but of course, if you're going up against high tech weaponry,
Let me say
that
something.
shit wouldn't
I
last.
like the Samoan. I like culture. Like
That
I
was
said,
cool.
we're living in a woke verse now, so everything is like, hey, we got to represent the South Pacific. Well, where is Samoa?
Yeah.
South
Yeah.
Pacific, right?
Samoa, yes.
No, but South. What
it's
part
in
of the
the South Pacific? Yes.
Yes,
South
yes.
Pacific? I dig that, but I just at that point in the movie, I said, end.
Well, yeah.
Don't start adding more shit to it.
And that was one of the problems with it being so fucking long is because they wanted to like really cram that in there, and like I appreciate the thought, but it didn't work in the flow because it had these big dips in like the flow of the movie where it would just be
Yeah.
like, all right, we're waiting, they're
It
traveling
sags.
somewhere else, and they're traveling to another place, and then all right, we're waiting for the big fight scene, and it's just like it just didn't work. They
And
should
then,
have.
so we also just with the whole like Samoa, like, and that's how it's pronounced. I'm trying to do it. I learned this the other day. Samoa.
See, there you go. Yeah, very nice.
Like, so the Hobbs just happens to come from like I guess the most influential family in Samoa. That like all it takes is one mom and one chancla to get everybody together. And it's so fucking stupid. They're out there and they're like preparing. They're like digging. And I laughed at this is the hardest I laughed in the movie, and I shouldn't have laughed at this part where one of the guys is like, how many holes we gotta dig? And The Rock just looks at the camera and she's like, just keep digging, man.
Yo, The Rock with the one-liners.
Like,
is
that's
on
not-
point,
I like the
son.
one-liners, the stupid one-liners.
There were some good ones, but it was
Yeah.
just like,
Just like a-
just keep digging. Like, hey, man, I'm fucking helping you out here.
I haven't seen you in 20 years. Don't tell me to fucking keep
Just
digging.
keep digging.
Give me
I
an
just-
answer, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I'm tired.
Keep my
What's
morale
that
up.
$20 you owe me, man?
A couple of other things. How did none of the Samoans
Samoans die.
die?
Well,
They just murder all these the cyborgs
It
who
was
are
kinda-
fucking cyborg people.
They
Wouldn't
they
at
gave
least
it the
be-
God of War, sorry, Game of Thrones treatment where people came back. You know, it was like, well, some people died, I'm sure.
oh yeah, I think
You know,
some
but-
people died.
But it seemed like no one perished. But
Yeah, I think they wanted to kind of keep that as like a back burner thing. Like they wanted to show that they put up a good fight. People obviously got hurt, probably some died, but they wanted to keep it as sort of like for the heroes, that sort of thing. You know
Yeah,
what I
man.
mean? As a positive.
I will say you should see the film if you're into stupid action films like that. If you want to turn off and just binge on stupidity and like action, bro. Even though the romance wasn't really there, like they're like, oh my gosh, you saved me. It was
Yeah,
kind of
they didn't-
shoehorned that in.
They
too.
didn't, but they didn't. They weren't so in your face.
Yeah,
about
yeah,
it.
yeah.
It was done
very
poorly,
subtle. It
but
was
it wasn't
very
like
subtle.
It wasn't like they took up so much time. They're like, enough of this love.
I'm
shit.
also gonna say it was some weird chemistry between the sister and the brother at the
yeah.
end.
Yeah.
I was like, what the?
Plus, I
she's
think-
like, guys, let's go home. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
in my head.
Yeah, I mean, them as brother and sister also. Yeah, it
There
just
was some
seemed a
weird
little-
chemistry there. I was like,
was
why
weird.
are you so close to your
You've been
sister's
watching
face?
too much incest porn.
Yeah, my bad.
Gotta watch.
I did like I wanted to see less of the car stupid physics and more of the 2v1 Hobbs Shaw versus Brixton was his name.
Oh, Brixton. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was dope. I said, finally, that's what everybody wanted to see, and they kind of went to the whole
Yeah.
Sharingan thing, and he was
Yeah.
breaking that. I also feel the whole singularity at the end when he died. I didn't understand. So did they own his? Because he said, "You took one soul from me already. This guy gave me another one," and then they turned him off.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Did
right.
they
yeah.
own his soul?
That was weird to me. 'Cause
And he's like, "That's how it is."
Yeah. So that's how he's gonna die. And you think he would at least like move to like the center? It's like so I don't fall, so someone can like.
But that's every antagonist villain always fall. Do you guys realize that in Black Panther they always fall in a ditch
into the chasms, man.
and a chasm? I think it's a device so they can bring him back because you don't really see him die.
I think it's possible.
You just,
I mean, the thing is like they repaired him to make him this cyborg super soldier anyway. So if they really wanted to, they could either recreate him or get his remains, bring him back, and then make him stronger than ever.
I guess.
But they turned off his head. I didn't understand it. Like,
so, and the weird if that's what was possible. Remember that scene where he like comes back, he like tries to turn him unsuccessfully. He's like, I wasn't able to turn him. Was I? And then the warbly voice, Dr. Claw, is like, he's like,
yeah, who the hell is
like,
that, by the way?
Yeah, that was kind of interesting because I was like,
I want to talk about that. After this, but
Dr. Claw, get him.
Who's Dr. Claw? I'll get you, Gadget. And then he's like saying something. He says something threatening to Brixton. He's like, "Is that a threat?" And he's like, "Yeah." So I took it.
Yes.
So it's like,
yes, it is.
So I was like, "Ooh, Idris is bad enough that like he doesn't have to like he's not beholden to these guys completely." But yes, he was, because if he steps out of line, it's like you're just gonna that is a threat. We'll shut you off if you do anything. Like,
facts.
And they, I don't know. I felt like not to say 2v1 is hard against the two protagonists.
But he's a cyborg who's able to go through a fucking bus.
I wanted to see some cybernetic move that, whatever, shoot a hand out, grab, something.
A rocket punch.
I
or see steam coming out of his hand. Like,
yeah, or something like that where he's like, upgrades might, like something was like, oh shit. The oh shit
like
moment for me.
If he got a patch while he was fighting, or
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Oh shit.
No, because he kept going in for patches, right?
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So there wasn't that, and it was just like black kryptonite suplex into a rock. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
Yay.
All it takes is a little teamwork and a little heart, guys.
And also,
and I
also felt
Ewoks.
and of course, it's not based in any physics, but just you fighting a cyborg, you punching a cyborg's face. Come on.
Yeah.
Well,
you'd be like, ow.
Well, I think he has like I don't know how much of his like bone structure.
His spine was made out of metal.
I don't know if his face was made of metal.
Yes, it was, because he had the Sharingan eyes, and he was like, I don't know. All right. Yeah. I think we're beating a dead horse.
Yeah.
Go see it, don't see it.
Yeah.
Just a quick aside.
Yes,
just because we're moving this direction of like cybernetics and cyber
for next episode.
Well, yeah, just like how much cyborg shit would you want in your body? Because like
new knees.
Do you hear about
new knees?
That's actually
knees?
yeah.
I don't even want anything cybernetic. Fix my knees.
Maybe just
and
my
give
whole
me
lower body.
give me arches in my feet.
Facts.
Yeah.
I dig that.
Yeah.
All right, but you wouldn't want the Sharingan eye. You wouldn't want those. It's basically like the Iron Man glasses from Spider-Man.
That was what I want a Sharingan for. Do you know what a Sharingan? You know what a Sharingan is, right? One.
No,
I don't actually.
Quick Naruto 101 Sharingan. You can see people's chakra, which exists. You can see people's aura. You can see their chakra points, and you can see slightly into the future.
You
and
can see what they're doing. Like
you can predict.
Yeah.
So pretty much time slows down.
Gotcha. Okay.
So you're like, oh, he's gonna punch me here.
All right, and then you're like, kind of like Spider-Man when he had a Spider-Man sense. You just have
Peter Tingle.
You
got you.
And actually in martial arts, if you train enough, you get that sense. You train your muscles to react on their own. So your muscles have its own mind, kind of.
Okay.
So to speak.
Okay.
That was a very bad explanation, but
no.
But I could use some good
what would
knees,
you want?
man. I want to be able to.
You'd be flexible,
play
right?
sports.
Yeah.
You do play
other
sports.
than that, I don't know. I play sports, man.
Yeah.
So I want some robotic knees.
See, knees. Once they come out with robotic knees, fam.
That's
Taken
what
out
win the
alone.
series, man.
Change the
Taken out alone.
Change
And then
the
I
game.
guess
My back's
just,
pretty good. Not gonna
for anything in the future, I guess like getting old, man, I would want to make sure that I maybe I get a robotic like prostate, just make sure my dick is working when I'm nice and old. It'd be like 80, like, hey, we fucking tonight.
I wouldn't want to fuck. You would want to fuck at 80?
And every time you're done, it have like the steam release.
When would you want to fuck at 80? If I'm still thinking on that lower vibration, then
I think I would.
you would still want to.
I wouldn't want a robotic.
It's
dick,
hard
by
for
the
me
way.
to say now in my
You said a robotic
30-ish-year-old self.
Non-robotic dick. I want to clarify. Not robotic dick. I just
But
want
a robotic prostate?
I want nanobots or something like that, just to make sure that
shit is
everything
clean?
shit is clean, flowing, and ready to go.
All right.
Over and over.
Wait, when? What?
So anyway,
you didn't say-
what's
you didn't say
your
what you
robot
want.
power?
My robot power would be
She man said a robotic prostate. I just got that down.
If I had to, man, honestly, I kind of just want to. If I can get my whole lower body done, I'd be straight.
Yeah.
Knees, hips, everything.
Oh, you'd be like
Feet.
that Geico commercial with the motorcycle, the Motor. You ever see that?
Yeah.
Such a dumb
Yes.
commercial.
Exactly like that. I'd be fucking happy with that. Absolutely.
It'd be tough to fuck somebody with a motorcycle
Ooh.
body. You can see all I care about.
Yeah. Robotic knees and like super sensitive hearing.
Yo, that's what's up.
Yeah, so I can sneak on people. and robotic eyes. I would want eyes, ears, and knees.
I just want the whole robot. My life goal is basically to have someone be like, Danny, he's more machine now than man. Gold and twisted. That's
Well,
what I do want that. I just want someone to say that about
What
me.
makes, just not to get philosophical, what made him more machine than man? Was it because it was his spine or his...
Oh, no. That's a Star Wars reference, man. Keep up.
No. But they said in the movie, he's like, I'm more machine than man now.
Oh, did he?
Well, something to that effect. Not
Yeah.
that exact line, but he's like, I'm more machine than man now. What made him more machine than man?
I guess the robot spine. Maybe he got a robotic prostate, and that happened off camera.
Maybe that's what did it.
Well, because I guess they brought him back to life, so he's reanimated. He
Yeah.
doesn't have a soul. His original soul, not to get super deep, but his original soul, he died because Shaw.
Oh, so
shot him?
he's like Brian Fury from
He is
Tekken.
Brian Tekken. Damn, we're getting real nerdy. Yeah.
Where's the drop? Let me get my drop.
You are a huge nerd.
Facts. All right, let's move on real quick.
Where are we
because
at with time?
We are running
We got
low on time.
13 minutes.
Yeah, so
30?
I just want to
13.
transition real
13,
quick
okay.
as a little bit of past Fast and Furious talk.
Oh, yeah, because
Uh,
I spent all that fucking time watching these movies. God damn it, we're going to talk
We got to
about
talk
it.
at least a little bit about it. So Tyrese came out the past few days. Before he had said some negative things about The Rock having his own franchise. So this week, after the numbers came out, it made 180 million at the box office,
That's-
beating Lion King and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So this is what Tyrese
This
had
movie?
to say. Yes, it did.
That's-
But this is actually the
marketing for
lowest. This is the lowest.
Well, it is a franchise. It makes sense.
Yeah, it's
and
a
it's
franchise.
the two biggest action movie stars right now.
Exactly.
So it makes sense.
Exactly. So and the summer actually hasn't had a whole bunch of
Action,
super
yeah, there
crazy
hasn't
action
been?
movies. Not a lot.
Has there been? No.
Not really. I mean, other than the Marvel movies, nothing.
That
really
was
crazy.
kind of like
that was
the-
early. So Tyrese went on Instagram and
was
he was
hating.
like, "Oh, I have to show my respects for one thing. He tried. Folks called me a hater, attacked me for speaking out. Breaking up the family clearly doesn't have the value that one would assume it does." So basically,
What is he talking about?
So basically, he's mad because The Rock decided to kind of branch off and make like his own franchise with Hobbs and Shaw, and basically taking himself out of the regular Fast and Furious universe so that they can all make bread. He also went on to say,
That's kind of fucked up though. If,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you've been a part of a franchise and then
And he came
two
in
of your
like halfway through.
one of the actors has enough cachet in the industry to produce their own and doesn't take you on, I can feel that.
Yeah.
I'd
So
be
parting
I'd be
words-
sour. I'd be sour.
yeah. And parting words from Tyrese, he also said, "You know what? Maybe, just maybe, The Rock and the crew will come dance with us again for Fast 10. We can all hug it out, get back to giving the true fans who have supported this franchise for 20 years what they want. No hating. I'm just pointing out the facts." So that's Tyrese. He's a little bitter.
hating.
He's definitely
He's definitely hating.
Definitely hating
He's
a little
definitely
bit.
hating.
That's a classic. I don't want to be racist,
Yeah.
but so
Asians.
Jews, I'm not so sure.
Right. And also on the
You
side
said the
note,
Jews. I'm not so sure about it.
the next Fast, the next Fast and Furious movie comes out next summer, 2020, and it's going to be starring John Cena, pretty much in place of what The Rock was doing.
He's not a leading.
No, he's
action
not.
Hero,
No, but he's not
man.
supposed to be a lead man. He's just a supporting cast member.
Yeah.
He's joining the Fast fam.
He's the
Yeah.
boss.
and it's
just
not.
as
So
someone
we're
to
not going
fill
to have
in.
The Rock.
Right,
And
no
we're not-
Rock.
No Rock, no Statham. Or just
I don't
the-
think it's going to be Statham. My guess is
They're
at this
going-
point
oh,
they're
we
going
didn't
to.
talk about
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Continue,
no.
continue.
From what I know at this point, they're sticking with the originals. You got Vin Diesel, Tyrese, Ludacris, all those guys will be back, and then they're gonna bring in
Luda.
John. They're bringing John Cena into the fold to kind of help fill the gap, I guess, placed by The Rock not being there. At least for the 9 movie. Maybe like Tyrese was saying, maybe in the 10th movie, everyone will come back and they'll
I'm sure they will.
Yeah,
Do something
but,
Yeah,
crazy
because
thing.
they definitely they hinted, they more than hinted that they're gonna have a sequel to Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah.
we got a virus that's not even melting your outsides; it's melting your outsides.
Not melting your insides. Melting
Oh, sorry,
your outsides.
your insides and your
He
outsides.
said like a kimono in a hurricane. I did not understand that reference.
Yeah, I
Does
don't
that
I
make
guess
any
it's
sense?
just like
I don't get it either. I don't get it
I
either.
don't
But who made that line?
he might have improv it, man. There's a
Well,
lot
let me
of,
tell you, the whoever wrote this film, like as far as like the dialogue, not great.
I think there were a lot of banter. I think a lot of the banter scenes were improv, and then
Okay.
and just like, hey, just do some banter, do the things you
Yeah.
do,
Yeah.
and then just that's the
You know what I
best
hate
they
about you?
fucking
It's
got.
your face. It burns my eye. And then he squinted. Oh,
if you see if there's too much room in the bowls, you know why? Because my bowls are big.
So
yeah, there was. They got real AEO. There was one scene. I'm like, are they gonna make out right now?
that's what it seemed like.
Yeah, like
It
just
did seem
kiss,
like
guys.
that.
Fuck and get it over with, so you can work as a
Yeah.
team.
So Danny, man, I know you took some time rewatching some of these films. Give us a
Yeah.
quick sort of summary of your thoughts on those.
So
films.
yeah, I mean, I only watched Fast and Furious, which was the fourth one, and Fast 5, which introduced The Rock. So that was pretty cool to see and juxtapose those to this film. And The Rock in Fast 5, he was like more badass. He was like he was real serious, and he had like kind of a southern accent. He was like, "All right, we're gonna take care of this shit." And then so that was a much cooler version of that character. He was basically The Rock in this movie, and then, like they had like a reference to the eyebrow and shit, and I was just like,
yeah,
with
his-
his daughter.
I like the tone they assumed with him in Fast 5. But Jesus Christ, the acting. I'm sorry, God rest his soul, Paul Walker and Vin Diesel. There is some bland acting. Paul Walker finds out his girl is pregnant. He's like, "What are you kidding?" Like, you can't even put on a smile on, man. Like, do a couple of takes. God rest his soul. Don't want to besmirch the good name.
Don't besmirch the dead, man.
But I mean, like, like if fucking Iggy Azalea died tonight, like I wouldn't be like, "Yo, that album was sick." I would still be like, I really don't like her. But
Why people hate Iggy? I don't understand.
Anyway,
it's
that's a
because she's
whole-
Australian and she's
that's
rapping
a
like
whole
she's.
other thing.
Okay.
That's
Oh, you know, she appropriated.
She got a fat ass. No, I'm
my,
just
my
joking.
point is, you gotta call it like you see it, and it. Oh man,
If Iggy came up to you to a bar and she's like, "How's it going, Mike?"
I would be like, "You're not a good rapper," but
Really? You'd say that to her face if she was giving you? All right.
No,
all right.
I wouldn't say
Now
that
we're just
shit.
lying to each other on this podcast.
Now we're just
And
going.
now
Now we're just going.
If Iggy Azalea came up to you to your bar and said like,
I'd be like, "You ever met anyone with a
how's it
robotic
going?"
prostate?"
All right.
Does anyone else have any final words on the Fast and the Furious franchise? Before we
Don't
move
go
on?
see it.
It was kind of cool.
Go
the
see
way
it
they,
drunk.
Like when in 5 they tried to do like a Ocean's 8 type of thing where they were doing like a heist. But yeah, forearm strength, lat strength for fucking days. And just like all types of shit where no one dies. Like they crash a bus. It's like remarkably no one died, and they're like they're driving safes through a city and like smashing up buildings. And it's like remarkably no one died. I was like, how are people not dying?
It's insane. No, it's
But,
insane. Like that type.
They're not all bad. Like I used to hate hardcore, but I see how this franchise could have existed 9 films plus the other ones slated.
It's very, very
Yeah.
broy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
very-
bro
Very
for
bro.
sure.
Very
To
bro.
me, it's very, very American. It's super just like
Oh, yeah.
mindless action. It's kind of like action comedy sort of stuff.
Yeah.
and-
Sounds like you're anti-American, Winston.
Do you know what it
Me?
reminded me of?
me.
Anti-patriotism. It reminded me of Rick and Morty's take on action films, Ball Foundlers, where it's just. Do you guys remember Interdimensional Cable episode 1?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Do you guys watch Rick and Morty?
Yeah,
I do.
yeah.
I do watch
For
Rick
the
and
people
Morty.
that do, that's what it reminded me of. If you were in a different dimension and there was just a bro movie, it'd be Ball Foundlers, where it's just like chicks with like big titties and people shooting. It doesn't make any sense.
But that's definitely
It
what the
doesn't
Fast
make
and
any
Furious
sense.
movies were like.
And
man.
I feel like if you're gonna lean all the way into that shit, don't try to be some science-y, geeky shit, and then all of a sudden it's not that. That's why I was like,
Yeah.
wait, which way you going with it, bro?
Right.
Well, there was considerably less objectification of women in this film.
Well, they
than,
can't
like,
do
the
that.
first
They
one.
can't do
I don't
that.
know if they
This-
can do it anymore. One, but also I wonder if it was just
Okay.
different because they don't have like the car races with like the ladies just like out there like shaking their
Because they
asses,
would
like-
get bloggers be like, this is
Yeah. Having said that, do these parties actually exist where it's just like cars and just like hundreds of people out on the street?
I feel like
and,
they do. I feel like they do in some
There's
places.
definitely
Yeah.
car culture
Send
like
me
that.
an invite, guys. Put it, hey man, put
Email
it
us.
in the DMs. Binge Society.
Yeah,
We got
email us
Binge-
if you're a part
Binge
of a car
email.
society with scandalous women.
Scantily clad.
Scandalous women.
No, I didn't say
preferable-
scantily clad. It's just scandalous.
I want
Ooh,
them
that
clad
dress is
scantily.
scandalous. And
Scantily or nothing. All right, let's get into what we're binging.
Yes.
Binging.
All right. So here we go.
back.
This is the
Sorry.
segment where we talk about what we're personally binging these days.
Owen, what are you watching?
All right. So
What are you doing?
I actually have been binging and just finished Big Little Lies. Right.
Oh,
So Big Little Lies is a show that I
No spoilers, please.
no spoilers.
Oh,
for that,
all right. No spoilers.
Just
So
say.
yeah. So basically, it's a show that I thought about getting into for a while, but I was kind of like, I don't know. Watched the first season. Thought it was actually pretty good. It's only like 7 episodes, which is kind of a weird number.
Oh, that's good. An easier binge.
Yeah, but there's some really good acting in there. And the second season, in my estimation, is not as good as the first, but it's worth watching. So, Big Little Lies. It's on HBO Go, wherever you watch your HBO streaming shows. So yeah, let's move on. Who else?
Cool. Yeah, we got to wrap this up. There's a time snafu apparently. I
Yeah.
thought we had 4 minutes, and we
No,
have-
we do.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right. So I am binging. I have been binging and will be binging soccer related stuff. I am a football head. I'm a Manchester United fan, as is indicated by my fake British accent. And I've been binging on this transfer saga, man. In the off season, it's all about like who's the team gonna buy, who are they gonna sell. And Manchester United's last season was really, really poor. And so it's been fucking up my sleep. I wake up every morning because there's a 5-hour time difference. And I wake up early and I'm like, did we get anybody? Did we sign anybody? And we haven't.
You are a huge nerd.
True. Always true.
Sorry,
And-
that warranted that one.
Hey man, it's what it is. If you're a soccer fan, hit it in the DMs, email me. I know you're out there. But in any case, yeah, I've been following this transfer saga, and it's finally coming to a close tomorrow at 5 p.m. UK time, so noon here, and I can't wait to be done with that and then get on to watching. I'm going to be binging some Premier League football this weekend. Sunday is when Manchester United plays, and I'm kind of sad I have to wait all the way to Sunday and not Saturday. So that's my binge for the weekend.
Yummy.
I've been binging anime. I've been binging. I started watching Mob Psycho 100 because I heard it was good, and my cousin put me onto the show Demon Slayer that's on Hulu that I heard was dope, and it has a lot of voiceover actors from Naruto and just shows that I've seen in general. So those are the 2 things I've been binging. I haven't been really home, honestly, but when I do binge, I've been binging those 2 things.
You've been binging on IRL?
Yeah. And
Yeah, by the way, we joke around and say everything in moderation, or nothing in moderation. We don't say everything in moderation.
Right.
But, you got to get that out there and experience some life. When I was watching these movies for hours and hours, and I was binging the other stuff that we're talking about, because we're recording another episode today, you gotta get some exercise. Get the fuck off the couch. Do some sit-ups. Do some crunches.
That's
So
right.
maybe one day you'll get the forearm strength and lat strength to pull down a helicopter.
Get out there and get a job so you
bare
can afford
fucking
some
hands.
Also-
robotic prostates.
That's right. Watch out for these hands right here, and this hand, and that hand, and this hand.
This is downright abusive, Winston.
Oh, that one.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's a good
That-
place.
That
sounded
that
like somebody
robot
just
Me Too'd me.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
That's what
that
just
was
happened.
very aggressive. That triggered me.
Talk to HR.
And that will do it for this episode of Binge Society. So follow us, please, on Instagram at Binge Society. Of course, we have our email address, bingesocietypodcast@gmail.com.
And
Yeah, send
coming
us your
soon,
emails.
Binge Society YouTube channel.
Yes,
Oh,
Binge
yes.
Society YouTube channel. Get us, please subscribe to us on iTunes. We're on all the streaming platforms now. We're on Spotify. Please write a review. If you love it, if you hate it, whatever, just tell us.
Yeah, we want your feedback, man. Your glows and your grows, everything in between. Give us ideas. If you have an idea for a show, a
Email
topic, a
us.
movie, email us,
At-
DM us at Binge Society on Instagram and Binge Society Podcast at gmail.com.
I'm Yummy Comedy.
I'm Winston Brewington.
I'm Danny Bronner. You can follow me at I_am Dantastico.
And me at Yummy Comedy.
And I'm at Radio Win.
All right, guys.
Later.
See you around.
Keep binging, baby.
Peace.
Peace.
Keep
We
binging.
out. Damn it.